Hey, what's up YouTube, and welcome to your 36th tutorial on how to create an FPS game. Alright, and today we are going to get into hit markers. Now, this is my hit marker. You can barely see it right now because it's like white and transparent. So, no, let me see if I can make the different background. Well, never mind, you'll see it in a moment. But it's a fairly simple hit mark. It's not a hit marker. It's not a very fancy one. You can make your own in Photoshop or whatever, but I'm going to show you how to use it in your game. So let's open up Unity, of course, and while it loads. Alright, so yeah, this is currently our first person shooter. If we look at what we got, we have a radar and spawning enemies, and we got all that good stuff. Oh, whoops, excuse me. I changed my delay, my spawn delay, to half a second, so they kind of got into the ground. Just change that back. 5. There we go. Alright, so yeah, we got basic radar, and that's it, basically, and ammo and health. So first of all, let's make a background for that radar so we know, its borders. We want to know the borders of the radar. So, now to calculate the borders of the radar, I simply have to do this. We do the distance that we're counting from, times 10, then divided by 2. Distance times 10 divided by 2. First do the times 10 divided by 2. So let's actually open the calculator, right? So distance is 30 times 10 equals 300 divided by 2. Excuse me. 300 divided by 2 equals 150, and then plus the width of the squares of the units that we're displaying. So, it won't start like the units off the radar, so it will also include their width. And so that's plus 20, and that goes to 170. So let's draw that. Now, I'll just copy paste that. And well, the reason we're doing screen.width, actually let me retype everything, alright? So yeah, dot box, alright. Now rectangle, screen dot width divided by 2, not divided by 2, minus 170. Well, actually I don't need those. Screen dot width minus 170, screen dot height minus 170, then 170, 170. And the reason I'm doing screen dot width minus 170 and not just 170, because if I put 170, it will start drawing it from 170, which is like 170, then here 170, and so we'll draw it here. But I want to draw it way down here, so I'm going to count the entire screen width, then minus 170. So that's why I'm doing that. And then we always need a string at the end. I don't know why. I think it's kind of stupid to put a string there. Right, so let's play that. And we got that little box there. We'll replace everything with images in later tutorials. And there we go. When they're spawning, see, they hit the borders of the box. They disappeared. Alright, so that's for calculating our background. But now let's get into hit markers. So first, let's make a new section for that. Call it. This is not necessary, but it will help you get your shit together. So yeah, so now I know where if I have a problem with a certain GUI, so I know where to touch it. That sounds really wrong. Anyways, so hit marks. Alright, so the thing with hit marks is that they need a certain alpha. Well, they can be, but if you want, I'm gonna do it with a certain alpha. And what alpha means is like if you know RGB codes, red, green, and blue, which is the color codes. There's also another parameter, if you didn't know that, that's called alpha, and that's the transparency of the colors. So That's what we're going to get into. We're going to get into the transparency of the texture. So first, let's make a texture. Right? Oh, whoops. I already got that. Right. I'll retype it for you. Var hit mark is of type texture. And you can call it whatever you want. Just be sure to name it same down here. Alright. And now we want another variable, excuse me, and that is our alpha variable. Well, it's not, it's gonna be, that's what we're gonna set the alpha variable to. And we'll call this fade 0.0. Make sure that's 0.0 so it will be a float. It cannot be an int. An int will not work. So, yeah, keep that in mind. And then what we want to do here is put GUI.color.a for alpha equals fade. And then up here we want to calculate the fade. So we'll minus, actually we want to slowly minus it from, we want to slowly decrease the fade. That's what we want to do, so it will slowly fade out. So to do that, we use the fact that on GUI is called every frame, of course. And so every frame we want to minus a certain amount from that fade variable. So the certain amount that will be minused from the variable has to be according to the setting of the variable. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do that later. First, I want to do a certain thing. Here, right here, where the enemy detects if it's hit, we want to send the player a message that we got the hit. So actually, let's do it right here. So if got hit, then send message. Actually, no. I want player dot send message hit mark. And then, so we want to call this function hit mark from the player. And make sure we got up, yeah, it's general web. Alright, so we want to call this, once the player shot us, we want to call this function. Now here we got to make this function, so function hit mark takes no parameters. Alright, and right in hit mark, what we want to do is type fade equals or plus equals, however you want it to be, equals, I'm going to put 10. Right? So fade equals 10. So each time we hit it, fade is being reset back to 10. Alright, and now GUI.color equals fade. Alright, so now once we set it to 10, meaning we have a alpha, we want to subtract from that fade variable. So if fade is bigger than 0, then fade minus equals, and here is the speed. Here's the amount it will subtract every frame, therefore being the speed of its fading. So I'm gonna put 0.01. The lower it is, the lower the speed. So let's look at that. Already had a definition for hit mark. Whoops. What have I done wrong? Let me just pause the video for 1 second. Oh, whoops, I got it. I named the variable and the function. Actually, I named the variable and the function the same, and that cannot be. You cannot have variables and functions which are the same name, because functions also return values. So they're kind of like they're not variables. They're not at all like variables, but you know they do return a value. They do hold a value. So you can't name functions and variables the same in any language, just so you know that. So I'm just gonna change it to lower h. And well, actually, I already did a lower h in Gun, so I don't know why I changed it to higher case h. But never mind. Now to fix that, I want to say if fade is bigger than 0, then subtract this amount from fade, and then if fade is less than 0, then we want to make fade equal to 0. Alright, so let's test that out. No errors. Alright. Oh, whoops. forgot the last most important thing. We need to draw the texture. Forgot to do that. So GUI dot draw texture rectangle. Now you want to make it at the perfectly at the center of the screen. So to do that, we'll do screen dot width divided by 2, screen dot height divided by 2. Then make it a size say 50 by 50. Now to get it, excuse me, let me put that in brackets. Alright, so to get it at a perfect center, meaning it's also centered from the width, meaning it literally draws it from the center, you have to minus half of your width and half of your height from the position. So minus 25, minus 25. So if my height was to be 60, then I'd put minus 30 here. So that's kind of how it works, the centering. So just to get a clear idea. And there we go. Oh, again, forgot to set it. So oh yeah, let's import our GUI. So right click, import new asset. It's also a fast way I learned recently. So and then you set it right here, way down here. Right, so it's not showing. Way down here. Right, so now that we got it, let's see how it works. There we go. See, it's nicely fading. But you know, it's I forgot to tell you one thing. Notice how it stays before it fades. That's because that's my bad. That's because of a mistake. An alpha, the value of an alpha can only go up to 1, from 0 to 1. So 0 being the minimum, being nothing, and 1 being the maximum, being everything. So it's showing all at 1 and showing nothing at 0. So if we set that to 10, then it literally just stays 1. You know, it's above 1, so it stays the same value, and then once it's gone down from 1, it starts fading. So we want to set that to 1, and then we want to decrease the speed of the fade. So that should give us a nice fading effect. By the way, this is the alpha value works the same for all the platforms, so just so you know. See, there we go. You got a nice fade on that texture. Now if you want to make other textures fade, simply put GUI.color.A above them. See, if I draw another texture in front of it, if I draw like I don't know, if I draw anything under it, then it will have the same alpha as this. So be sure if you want to draw something under it, then set the GUI.color.A back to its 1 regular value. So that's all for hit markers. You know, you can always mess around with it if you like. I always like to put at 30, then wait for them to spawn a bit. Shoot stuff meanwhile. You know, while you're waiting, you can always test the radar. To do this, make sure you have a very strong computer, and you set your maximum health to like a ton, because they're gonna be shooting at you and damaging you a lot. And then once you get a lot of AIs, you can test the hit markers. See, it works beautifully. Wow, I'm enjoying this right now. Anyways, so next time we'll be doing scoring and scoring system and everything, and we'll be also putting maybe a gun thumbnail. I don't know. Maybe we'll put a little thumbnail of the gun. So anyways, that's all for this tutorial, and bye-bye.